Hey everyone, this is Ashley Lawson, and today we are talking about something that needs to be said plainly. Stop calling red flags spiritual warfare. Everything that feels hard is not the devil. Everything that brings confusion is not an attack. Sometimes God is showing you exactly what you need to see, but because you want the relationship, the opportunity, the friendship, or the situation so badly, you keep spiritualizing what should have already been a warning sign. We have to learn the difference between persecution and poor discernment. We have to learn the difference between warfare and warning, because too many people are staying in places God never told them to remain in. And instead of admitting what is happening, they say, the enemy is just busy. No, sometimes the problem is not the enemy. Sometimes the problem is that you saw the red flags, ignored the red flags, explained away the red flags, and now you want to call the consequences spiritual warfare. Let's be honest. If somebody is inconsistent, dishonest, manipulative, emotionally unavailable, disrespectful, or constantly bringing confusion into your life, that is not always spiritual warfare. That may be your sign to step back and pay attention. God is not the author of confusion. If every time you deal with a person you feel anxious, drained, unstable, and uncertain, that is not something to keep dressing up in church language. God does not need you to force what He never ordained. And one of the hardest lessons I have had to learn is that just because I prayed about a thing does not mean I get to ignore what God revealed about it. Prayer is not permission to bypass wisdom. Prayer should sharpen your discernment, not blind it. A lot of us have been guilty of this. We see someone lie and we say they are under attack. We see repeated disrespect and we say the devil is trying to divide us. We see instability, secrecy, chaos, and emotional games, and we call it warfare because admitting the truth would require us to walk away. But sometimes what you are calling warfare is actually God uncovering what has been hidden. Sometimes the exposure is the answer to your prayer. Sometimes the disappointment is divine protection. Sometimes the closed door is mercy. Sometimes the discomfort you feel is not the enemy resisting you. Sometimes it is the Holy Spirit warning you that something is off. This is why discernment matters. Discernment is not just feeling something in your spirit. Discernment is also recognizing patterns. Discernment notices fruit. Discernment watches behavior. Discernment does not keep making excuses for what is consistently unhealthy. The Bible tells us that wisdom is the principal thing, and many people are asking God for breakthroughs when they really need clarity. Because if God keeps showing you a person's character, why are you still negotiating with the evidence? If God keeps allowing things to come to the surface, why are you still trying to bury them under spiritual language? There comes a point where maturity says, I am not going to call this warfare just because I do not want to accept the truth. And I want to say this too. Everything difficult is not wrong, but everything destructive is not holy. There is a difference. Some things require prayer, patience, and endurance, but other things require boundaries, wisdom, and departure. We have to stop glorifying unnecessary suffering in situations God never called us to keep entertaining. Just because something is difficult does not mean it is deep. Just because something is emotionally intense does not mean it is spiritually significant. Just because you are attached to it does not mean God assigned it. Some people are not your warfare. They are your lesson. Some situations are not attacks. They are alerts. If this is hitting home, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what have I been calling spiritual warfare that is really just a red flag? What have I been defending that God has already exposed? What have I been praying over that God has already answered through revelation? Because healing starts when honesty begins. Deliverance starts when denial ends. And growth starts when you stop making excuses for what keeps hurting you. You cannot heal properly while constantly renaming what broke you. You cannot move forward while calling dysfunction destiny. And you cannot walk in peace while you keep tolerating confusion. So today, let this be your confirmation. Stop calling red flags spiritual warfare. Ask God for discernment. Ask God for courage. Ask God for wisdom to know when to pray, when to wait, and when to walk away. Because not every battle is yours to fight, and not every person is yours to keep. Some things are being revealed so you can finally let them go. This is Ashley Lawson, And if this message blessed you, make sure you subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and keep growing with me in faith, truth, and wisdom.